What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of Resident Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you a tier list for Marvel Rivals. I know in my previous video I talked about how I think a lot of the characters are misplaced in their roles and everything. So I finally decided to do a video using the tier list maker where I put the characters in their respective spots. I did this. I actually did a test version of this video without recording it a couple of months ago, but the game has since been updated. I think this was around the time that Emma had first come out, but now we have Ultron as well. So now I have it blank, as you guys can see up on the screen, and yeah, we're just going to get to it. And I'm going to explain why. Most of these choices are going to be lore related. Now, putting all these people in the different categories is probably not going to even out like how it should be. There's still probably going to be more duelists than there are tanks or strategists, but that's the idea behind it, lore wise, where these characters should be. And I'm just going to go down the row, right? So starting with our perfect boy himself, Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock should be a fucking tank, plain and simple. I think I stated this in the previous video, but lore wise, the perfect specimen, the perfect being that does magic and is basically immortal, that has invulnerability along with flight, should be a tank. Because him basically being a DPS healer is not really working for me, especially the fact they didn't make him a flyer, which is an issue because Ultron is a flying healer, but we'll get to Ultron later. So yeah, Adam Warlock should have been a tank. Full stop. Black Panther should be a tank. You have the guy with a invulnerable suit that absorbs kinetic energy. Yeah, he should be a tank. He's already a melee-based character. Now, he does move really, really quickly due to his attacks and everything like that. But I think just for the simple fact that he's invulnerable in the suit that can absorb damage, I think he should also be a tank. And I didn't, let me step back a little bit. I didn't do a whole lot of thinking regarding retooling their kits or anything like that. But this is just the gist of where I think these people should be. For Black Panther, you can probably keep them fairly quick as a tank, but he should be a little bit beefier, and his suit should absorb damage, kind of like how Doctor Strange, the more melee damage you do, you can expel that damage. He should have a feature like that. I know that for sure. And sorry if I sound a little bit odd. My allergies are kicking my ass right now. Black Widow. She's fine as a duelist, right? And actually, where all the people that are not changing spots, let me go ahead and put them in their spots now. So we got Hulk. Side note about Black Widow. Her kit should be different. She shouldn't be a sniper. They should have given her like an assault rifle, a semi-automatic rifle, or handguns. Like, it shouldn't be a sniper rifle and the batons. Like, I've never, outside of the movies, I never knew Black Widow to use the batons until, like, in the comics, I mean. And because my allergies are kicking my ass, I need some tissue. Oh. So, hopefully this doesn't get weird doing that on camera. So yeah, Black Widow's kit should be different. She should have handguns and like some type of semi-automatic gun or something like that. Still, oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and Put my phone on vibrate. Just going down the line of characters. And if I really think one should change that stays in the... If there's an argument to be made for one of the characters, I'll go over it. A lot of it, which will actually be quite a few characters, if we're being honest, because like I said, I'm doing this for lore-wise, or lore-related. I believe that might be... Yeah. Oh, of course. I'm looking over a lot of the characters, and I'm trying to figure out if any of them will really belong where they are. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, oh, of course, Venom, duh. Now that I'm looking at it, a couple of characters that I left in their same spots before, I'm actually going to change. When I did this video, when I did a test run of this video. So who we have now are Captain America, Doctor Strange, Hela, Iron Fist, Jeff, Loki, Mantis, Moon Knight, Rocket, Scarlet Witch, Storm, Wolverine, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Emma Frost, and Ultron. And actually, I think I'm going to keep... I'm really debating Invisible Woman and Jeff, but I keep them. There are arguments to be made for those two. So we got this lineup right now. So really quickly, with the people that are staying in their respective class, if you will, I think technically Iron Man could be a tank. But he's a flying DPS, so I get it. But a guy in a suit of armor that's invulnerable, almost indestructible, that sounds like a tank to me. I'm just saying. But I get why he's a duelist, a DPS. If they ever add War Machine to the game, War Machine has to be a tank. And quite frankly, War Machine should be a flying tank. If we finally have a flying healer with Ultron, War Machine should be a flying tank. If we're being real, Adam Warlock is a strategist in the game. Out of the people that are already in their class, Magneto and Thor should be flying tanks. Plain and simple. They should have the ability to fly and not slightly hover above the ground with their movement speed. Like, they should be flying. Thor, okay, not so much, because he technically needs to swing his hammer in order to fly. Magneto absolutely should be a flying tank, and I don't know why they... Whatever. Maybe they'll go back and change, repatch some stuff and abilities and everything like that. But for Namor. Namor is another person with invulnerability who technically could be a tank, but I'm leaving him in DPS. Spider-Man kind of falls into that as well, but I get it. The guy that super quick swings around and everything like that, he just so happens to be kind of invulnerable to a certain extent. Beyond that, Human Torch will probably be the next person, but yeah, those are all fine in the DPS. Jeff the Land Shark and Invisible Woman. Jeff the Land Shark people kind of already play Jeff as a DPS, kind of sort of, although the recent patch, I think, has kind of nerfed that, so he's kind of been more like a straight up healer. But Jeff the Land Shark arguably could have been a DPS. And same with Invisible Woman. I think she lore-wise, she should probably be DPS, but I'm going to leave her as a healer. Because we're probably going to have, now that I'm looking at it, we're probably going to have way more tanks than we do DPS. And the strategists are probably going to fall around the same. All right, now let's go down the line. Captain America, who's a tank in the game. Captain America should be a DPS. He should be a DPS. He has a shield. He should have more access to throwing his shield. His ultimate move is like it gives over health, so it gives extra health to anybody that stands in the effect. His ultimate should be like a ricocheting shield move versus over health, but he should also have more access to his shield throw versus just being straight up melee. And I think one of the nerfs in the game in the most recent patch to add Ultron into it decreased Cap's survivability, because that was a real big thing. Like, you can stall with Cap. I think he should be a DPS. It doesn't make sense for Cap to be a tank. That's just my opinion. Give him more access to a shield throw. That's the same thing that I believe with Thor. Thor should have more access to throwing his shield versus having to use a cooldown to throw the shield. I think a cooldown should be reserved for like really powerful moves, and a base hammer throw or a shield throw shouldn't have a cooldown on it, in my opinion. But Cap should 100% be a DPS, because he already plays like a DPS. He just has a big ass health bar. Doctor Strange should be a fucking healer. I don't know why they made him a tank. Now, honestly, Doctor Strange can kind of fall within any role, if we're being honest, but I think he should be a healer, because I never thought of Doctor Strange being a tank. Yes, he has a shield. I think his ultimate move shouldn't be the Eye of Agamotto, where he knocks everybody's soul into the astral plane and it allows you to attack them. It basically stuns everybody. It's a giant stun. I think his ultimate should be like a giant shield that stops other team from being able to do damage of some sort. But I think he should be a healer because of magic and the sling ring stuff, opening the portals and everything like that. I think Doctor Strange should be a healer. Just give him like a primary fire that you can either do Doctor Strange's kit, kind of like how they have Adam's kit now, where he has a heal move on a cooldown, or you can have him do like a primary fire that heals or does damage, depending on who it hits. If it hits a teammate, it heals them. If it hits an opponent, enemy player, it damages them. But yeah, Doctor Strange should definitely be a healer. Hela should be a tank. Lore-wise, Hela is technically a giant. She's not a frost giant, I don't think. But Hela is apparently like big as hell. And she's the literal god. Now I get why they made the literal goddess of death a duelist, a DPS, which is damage per second for anybody that's not familiar with hero shooters. But her being like, invulnerable, again, having all those capabilities, she doesn't fly. She has an escape that turns herself into like a crow that she can fly away from. Hela's kit could really remain the same, but just make her a tank. So probably decrease the damage a little bit, because tanks don't have the best damage output apparently. And I'm not a hero shooter expert. This is just stuff that I've read, on message boards and things like that. But tanks don't have the biggest damage output. So just decrease her damage output a little bit. Give her a big ass health bar, and you probably wouldn't have to really change her ult really at all. Or her kit really at all. Her ult will probably have to change, because she already gets like a giant health bar and the damage is really high on her ult. But yeah, Iron Fist, I would have kept him in Duelist but I think he should be a DPS. And I hate Iron Fist. I hate Iron Fist. I hate Spider-Man. They're annoying as shit. Now, granted, let me get this out the way. I play quick play. I do not play competitive. People take things way too serious and competitive. And I've had a pretty solid quick play experience where people aren't being super annoying and toxic and everything like that. But in quick play, Iron Fist and Spider-Man, and they more with the team up with Hulk, are annoying as shit. But I think Iron Fist should be a tank because, again, his powers and vulnerability. And actually, you know what? No, I'll keep Iron Fist in DPS. But there's an argument to be made that he should be a tank because of his invulnerability. But he's probably a character that needs really high damage output, and the DPS are gonna generally have high damage outputs. Loki. Now, Loki can be in either class. Loki is a frost giant, so technically he should be a tank because he's big as shit. He should act lore wise, he should be big as hell. Again, invulnerability, all that stuff. I don't understand why they decided to make the God of Mischief, known for tricking people, a healer. He should just, and he's like a DPS hiding as a healer in the first place. Like most people that play him, you can get high healing output from him because his primary attack heals and damages, but he has pretty high damage output. Loki, just make him a DPS, but he can also be a tank. I can't remember where I put him last time, but I'm gonna put him in DPS now. Mantis, lore wise, Mantis should be a duelist. I think one of her powers is invulnerability, but outside of that, Mantis is like an expert martial artist. And her powers, her moveset, her skill set, and her power set lend her to being a DPS, which you kind of already have to play her like a DPS. She can heal, but Mantis is known for having good damage output as well. So, yeah, lore-wise, Mantis is actually a very capable fighter. I think they based Game Mantis a little bit more so off the movie version. But, like, yeah, Mantis got hands. So, she should definitely be a DPS. Moon Knight. I was real tempted to leave Moon Knight in DPS. Moon Knight should be a tank because he's essentially immortal as long as Khonshu brings him back. But also, he's known for not really giving a fuck when it comes to fighting. He will literally throw himself into danger just to be able to take a person out. So it's kind of like that, the crazy motherfucker that never gives up should be Moon Knight, not Cap. It should be Moon Knight. Rocket should be a fucking DPS. He already plays like one. His primary fire is a machine gun. His secondary fire is the healing orbs. Rocket he has really good escapability, or at least did. I don't know what, after the patch, I don't know how comparable it is to how he was before. But Rocket should be a DPS. I don't know why Rocket should have traps like Penny has. Like you got the super smart animal. He's not a rat. He looks like an earth raccoon, but he's not a raccoon. But you have the super smart being that's a genius technician, genius with technology and all that stuff. He should have traps and stuff like that he can do. And ironically enough, the new patch gave him a team up with Penny where he lays an extra spider nest for her webs. It actually spits out more bombs and everything like that. His beacon that revives teammates. It's a beacon, but it also spits out extra bombs if you're teaming with Penny. But yeah, Rocket should be a duelist. Scarlet Witch should be a healer. I know that sounds crazy. Lore-wise, now they might have changed it in the years since, but lore-wise, Scarlet Witch's powers is changing the probability of things. They've since turned that into chaos magic. Why can't that chaos magic heal versus just doing straight damage? And I would make Scarlet's kit similar to Cloak and Dagger's kit, where she has the primary fire that that you don't aim with, but I would kind of make it like Jeff. Like Jeff's waterfall that heals is on a meter. You give her her primary fire on like a meter. You have a secondary fire that heals, and you can make that like, I mean, most of them have what am I trying to say? For lack of a better term, the ammo amount. Mostly everybody has like a certain number of shots that they can do. But you can you can switch it around. You give her like a primary fire that heals or damages. You make her secondary fire her move that she doesn't have to aim, but you put it on a meter. And you give her like you can still keep her phasing ability as her way to escape. And then her ultimate should probably stay the same. It can be one of the offensive ultimates for the strategist, because you don't want everybody having like a circle of invulnerability or anything like that, because then everybody just plays the same essentially. But Scarlet Witch should definitely be a healer. Storm. This is probably going to be a real crazy selection for everybody. Storm should be a healer as well. If you can change her base, I don't know what it's called, but you can go from being wind or electricity, right? And that's like her base movement or her base power up. Wind grants her teammates that are in its circle a speed boost or a movement boost, and electricity grants a damage boost. Why can't that just be like a healing boost with electricity? Keep the movement speed with the wind. You can give her like a secondary fire that's like the bolt of lightning. Like the super strong bolt of lightning. But then make her primary fire like a healing capability, right? Because I think the one thing that's weird is that everybody thinks of Storm mostly for lightning attacks. Storm is the literal goddess of weather. So ice, wind, rain, lightning, all that stuff. Because none of this stuff makes sense if we're really thinking about it, right? Like, why is Luna Snow able to heal you with throwing ice shards? She's literally throwing ice at your back, and it's healing you. Jeff is literally spitting water out on you, and it's healing you. Invisible Woman is healing you with force fields. None of this shit makes sense, right? But why can't you just say, oh, we can do, Storm can throw lightning bolts and they could give you a perk. Like it can be like a healing over time type of thing, or a damage boost or something like that, but it heals as well. Something like that. Wolverine. Wolverine and Mr. Fantastic are probably the two easiest ones. They should be tanks. Wolverine and Mr. Fantastic already play like tanks. I don't know why they decided to make the 5'5" angry Canadian with a metal skeleton and metal claws a DPS. That man is literally built like a tank. Just increase his life bar. You can still do like the overhealth thing where if his life gets down, and actually I think they should give him like a slight regen. He should have like a slight regeneration passive ability where if he's not being damaged, or if he's not being damaged, his life regenerates a certain amount. If he is being damaged, his life regenerates like a quarter of that amount or something like that. But Wolverine should be a tank. I don't know why they didn't make him a tank. Mr. Fantastic should be a tank. He already plays like a pseudo tank in the first place. So, yeah. He got the inflatable ability where he walks around all funny. He's melee based. He can stretch your arms. He can pull himself towards you. All that stuff. He already plays like a tank. They should have just made him a tank to begin with. Now, this Emma Frost. This is one where I put on Reddit, and I got downvoted quite a bit. Ooh. Emma Frost should be a fucking strategist. I think people overvalue the fact that she can turn into a diamond, which increases her invulnerability, right? And I've been saying all video, people with invulnerability should be tanks. That's a limited thing. Emma Frost is a telepath. When she's in her diamond form, her telepathic powers are in a weakened state, so they're not as strong. So Emma should be a strategist, a healer, with the diamond form that's not, because most of the strategists have like very good escapability. They have a move that can let them escape, everything like that. Most of them. Here's looking at you, Adam. They butchered my boy. But make Emma's diamond form, give her temporary invulnerability in case, like, as a way of being, not giving her like an escape button. Like, okay, I'm low on health, let me go diamond, and then this, all damage received is like decreased by like 1/8 or something like that. I think her main move is like a telepathic move. Have it do healing. I don't understand. Like, literally, you got the telepath that can read people's minds, and we want to turn that into like a tank because she has a diamond form, when literally she should be basically encouraging people to keep going. Again, if we're trying to explain this within the lore of Marvel Rivals and not the comic books lore, that's how I felt Emma should have been. She should have been a strategist. She should have been a healer. Again, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into the kits and changing them around. Not for everybody. Ultron is the newest strategist. Ultron is a murder robot. How the fuck did you not make him a tank? I don't understand. Making him a healer was a choice. Add on to that they just patched him into the game. They just put him into the game yesterday. Today is Saturday the 31st. Yesterday was the 30th. Ultron, they just released him yesterday. But in like the test run, it was said that, his healing output is not good. His damage output isn't even that good. Why are you making a murder robot a strategist? Make him a tank. Just give him a real... And he's a flyer. He's the first flying strategist on the roster. Make him the first flying healer. I mean, although that should have been Magneto, but we digress. But just give him a real big health bar, and that's it. And then actually, I was thinking that he should have a adamantium exoskeleton, or is it endoskeleton? Whichever one is the outward. I think that's exoskeleton. I think endoskeleton is inside. But I was thinking that he should have an adamantium exoskeleton. But somebody on Reddit was like, he should have, his life bar should be shared across different drones. So if you kill one, it automatically goes to the next one that you keep playing with. That ideal is way better than mine. But I think Ultron should be a tank. So yeah, this is how the new roster would look like if I had put it together. Again, we're still kind of lacking on the healers, but I think it gives a much better variety regarding lore, because a lot of, like I said before, and I'm not trying to, this video is already 30 minutes. I don't want it to go any longer. I really didn't want it to go this long, but I think this works out a little bit better lore wise with the characters versus how they are now. So, you know, we swap out, we kind of stay the same with strategists, at least, because, you know, the current strategists on the roster: Loki, Mantis, Rocket, Atom, Ultron. That's 5 right there. Just double checking. Oh man, that's 5. We're only missing one, so we end up losing the strategist. But I think this makes more sense for the roster and how it looks, and then it adds a bunch of more tanks, because that's the thing right now. Tank DPS outnumbers the tanks and the healers by a lot. So I think if the roster was like this, it would make a little bit more sense. Give or take, like, you know, some of the people, like I said, Namor, Spider-Man, probably Human Torch, Loki, Mantis, Iron Fist. Those are probably some characters that should probably be tanks, lore-wise, if we're talking, but I'll leave them in DPS. But yeah, I wasn't planning on having this video go that long, but hopefully you guys enjoyed, and you know, you kind of understand where I'm coming from. At least I got a few comments on the other video, but yeah, I'm hoping that what Marvel Rivals needs to keep doing is keep adding strategists and tanks. They got to even out the roster a little bit, because right now, at least, people kind of insta-lock the DPS, at least in quick play. I don't play comp. I don't play competitive, so I don't know if that happens there. I think generally people all get on board with like having a balanced team composition, but they need to just focus on releasing, you know, another couple strategists and tanks before they start focusing on the DPS again. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll probably do another Marvel Rivals video soon, depending on what's going on and everything like that. I play it a lot, but again, I think I don't stream, I don't play competitively or anything like that, so I don't have the input that a lot of other streamers do have, or content creators do have. So I'm not in the know, because like I just play the game and I'm not trying to do this shit competitively. So it doesn't mean that much to me, right? But I might do another video here and there. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys around next time.